All right. First and foremost, we give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Abba Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world and we call Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai. It's your brother Chief Priest Allah Zalban Loye, aka the Gorilla Hebrew.
It's the brother Hassan.
And yeah, we're back at y'all with another new moon. So Ashar Kadash, Shabbat Shalom, YASHARAHLA. Getting ready to do as we usually do on these Shabbats. You know, especially for this new moon. So we coming into the 4th month of the year. Nearing the time of harvest, which is, you know, your summertime. That's when you get your, you know, the typical time of harvest. You know, matter of fact. Cool, we're ready to start the service. So let's start this first with this scripture first in the book of John, because this will let us know what time the harvest is, which is we know the harvest is in the summer, right? Right. So go ahead and read that.
John, what's that?
4 and 35.
It's the book of John, chapter 4, verse 35. It says, "Say not ye, there are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvest."
And then cometh what?
Harvest.
And then cometh harvest. So it's 4 months, then come harvest. So you got to go through 4 months, right? So nearing this time, by the end of this month, it'll be a time of harvest, right? That's when you get something called the Feast of First Fruits, which comes in June the 23rd. 4 months, then the time of harvest. That lets us know that. So for people who may question the calendrical system that we are employing through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, like a lot of camps, and this ain't a knock to any camps, but people may knock us or have questions of why some camps believe we're in the 3rd month, but we believe we're in the 4th month. Why? Because now, mind you, all these same camps, they will all be celebrating Feast of First Fruits this month. All of them, right? Now watch this. Read that again.
This is John, chapter 4, verse 35. It says, "Say not ye, there are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvest."
Right? There's 4 months, then cometh harvest. So why are they keeping harvest? I mean, why are they celebrating the feast of the ingathering of harvest or the feast of the harvest, not ingathering, that's later in the summer. And if it's the 3rd month, if Yahweh Shai said it come in the 4th month, right? For the record, don't worry about it. For the record, for anybody who's misinformed, Anthony Joshua is not a Hamite. Anthony Joshua is from the tribe of Ephraim. He is a Yoruba. What does the term Yoruba come from? It comes from the Hebrew word Yerabawam, which means Jeroboam, which was the king of who? The northern kingdom in the tribe of Ephraim. Okay? The Ephraimites, the Manassites, the Asherites that cleaved to the house of Israel during the time of King Hezekiah. And went in an exile with us. We're still on the scene with us. How do we know that? Not the majority of Israel, they left after the Assyrian captivity came to the Americas. But the remnant that joined unto us, i.e. Anna in the Gospels from the tribe of Asher. How is there a woman from the tribe of Asher with the southern kingdom after the northern kingdom left? Why? Because a remnant came with us into the south, right? Some of them was Ephraimites, Manassites, Asherites. Those were the main tribes that came. Some other tribes as well, but those were the main ones. Matter of fact, you can get that for me in Chronicles. Chronicles out. What is that? 2 Chronicles 30. He's not no Hamite. He's from the Yoruba people. Yoruba people are Ephraimites, predominantly. Also Manassites, Asherites, northern kingdom tribes. Okay, it's no coincidence that they call themselves Yoruba, which goes back to Jeroboam. I'm gonna show you some Junior El Ray. Yahweh Shem Yahshua King. So it's no coincidence. I'm gonna show y'all something real quick. And most I'll be going into it most I want soon after we get done with this Hispanic and Latino presentations. We're gonna do some Israelite foreigner stuff on brothers that's in Africa and Asia and things like that who are Israelites as well. All praises D-Walk. But it's no coincidence that the majority of slaves that were imported into Puerto Rico are Yoruba. That's no coincidence, right? No, if all Israelites gonna go in the kingdom. You know, it doesn't matter how he talks about us. So that's the same logic that people use about Latinos that don't like black people, right? Well, he lives in England, but he's from Nigeria, right? He's a Yoruba. So again, the majority of slaves that were imported into Puerto Rico and other Latino areas that came from Africa are Yoruba. That's no coincidence. And they claim to be Northern Kingdom tribes. That's not a coincidence. So when people go, well, Cuba too. So when people go, oh, well, who are the Afro? You got Cuba on there, or you got Puerto Rico. Who are the Afro Puerto Ricans? Well, you can believe whatever you want. The facts are the Yoruba are Israelites. Brothers are so ignorant, they see Africa and they think Ham. It's, brother, quite frankly, it's intellectual stupidity, brother. And it's denialism because you're denying the facts. The facts are Mike Ziegler, Yahweh Shemir Shah Barakatah, El Burro, chill out. Brother ain't got to be a Hamite. Let's not do that. We don't need to resort to name calling and things of that nature. You just need to deal with the truth and the facts, King. The facts are that if you claim to be a Hebrew Israelite, right? And one of your predominant ways that you're going to prove that is through what? Through saying that you're a victim of the transatlantic slave trade, right? So the tribes that were taken on slave ships through the transatlantic slave trade, they would have to be Israelites, right? That's what you're saying. But all of them did not get put in force on ships. Some of them remained in West Africa. So whatever tribes were taken through the Middle Passage, the ones that didn't get to get on the boats would have to be the Israelite remnant that's still in Africa. Who's among that list? Who's one of the chiefest among that list? The Yoruba people. Right? So the Yoruba have some of the strongest evidence suggesting that they're Israelites out of any people group in the world. So to come to the conclusion that they're not Israelites is problematic. Okay? They are the remnant of Northern Kingdom that cleaved unto the Southern Kingdom. Right? You got that scripture? Read that.
This is 2 Chronicles chapter 30. I'm going to start at verse 10. It says, So the post passed from city to city through the country of Ephraim and Manasseh.
So King Hezekiah sent brothers to go all throughout the Northern Kingdom and put up posters encouraging them to come to Judah to worship Yahweh, because you got to come to Judah, you got to worship in Jerusalem, right? During that time period, that's the only place, right? Read.
It says, even unto Zebulun, but they laughed them to scorn and mocked them.
The majority of the Northern Kingdom laughed them to scorn and mocked them. They wasn't coming to Jerusalem to serve Yahweh. And that's how they feel, right? And that's the cold thing too. When you see these people of the Northern Kingdom,
I was just about to say that, yeah,
that's doing the Latino only doctrine, is saying, man, we ain't gotta come to the Southern Kingdom, to the Jew, to the black man. We're Israelites too. We can do it. It's the same thing, and y'all ain't spiritual enough or deep enough. And I'm saying this generally. I'm not picking out any particular person in the chat, but a lot of people are not spiritual enough and they're not in the Bible enough to understand that all they're doing is exactly what the 12 tribes have always done, what the 2 kingdoms have always done. Divided themselves against each other and hated one another. Right? Oh, we not going to mess with them niggas. That's what the Latino onlys are saying now. Oh, we ain't going to deal with them. You see what I'm saying? It's nothing new, man. But, read.
Nevertheless.
Yes, many of them laughed them to scorn. Nevertheless, read.
Diverse of Asher.
Diverse of Asher. Read.
And Manasseh.
Read.
And of Zebulun.
And Zebulun. Read.
Humbled themselves.
Read on.
And came to Jerusalem.
See that? Keep going.
Verse 12. Also in Judah, the hand of God was to give them one heart to do the commandment of the king.
So some of them came and they cleaved to us. Right? They came and they cleaved to us and they were keeping the laws and things of that nature and living amongst the Southern Kingdom. That's what happened. Right? Go ahead.
And of the princes by the word of Yahweh. That's it on that.
There's another one.
Okay, verse. I'm gonna jump to verse 18. It says, "For a multitude of the people, even many of Ephraim."
And many of who? So we read Asher, Manasseh, and Zebulun. But now it's telling us other tribes as well. Many of Ephraim, read on.
And Manasseh.
And Manasseh, read.
Issachar,
read.
And Zebulun.
Read.
Had not cleansed themselves, yet did they eat the Passover.
They came to that Passover still. So you had Northern Kingdom tribes, or remnants, or groups of Northern Kingdom people that came and resorted to the south. Right? The father of my kids, he is direct Yoruba from Nigeria. I try to talk to him about this stuff, but it's hard to make sense. We had a video with a Yoruba brother, man, before, a Fula brother. You got to understand that some of these tribes in West Africa are Israelites. The Yoruba, the Igbo, the Fula, the Wolof, several other tribes. Okay, that's just to name a few. We're going to go into a lot of them. But see, the Yoruba comprise of most of the Northern Kingdom tribes that left and came to Judah. But also you have another group amongst in the Songhai Empire. The Songhai Emperor were Judites and Issacharites as well, okay, that were in Africa. And when you understand and you study, coincidentally, the slave trade of importation of slaves from Africa into Mexico, you understand that these slaves, they come from the same Songhai Empire, right? So it's not a coincidence. People go, the white man didn't know to take this tribe and Benjamin here. And it's not about the white man. It's about Yahweh has an intelligent design. So Yahweh is in control of these things, the Most High. So he made sure that these tribes reunited with one another. The ones who had got split up, the ones who stayed in the South and then went and was driven through Africa, and the ones who came over here in the Americas. Right? Like you said, you got Limba tribes, which are Levites. But I'm talking about the Northern Kingdom tribe, which are the Yoruba and some of the Songhai Empire. Those would be Northern Kingdom that stayed with Judah. All right? But were also imported in slavery into now Latin countries, and have totally amalgamated, assimilated, and synthesized with the indigenous peoples there. Right? So that's the facts of it. So is Anthony Joshua a Hamite? No. Anthony Joshua was Israel. First off, do you think it's a coincidence that he's from the Yoruba tribe, which claims descendancy from the tribe of Ephraim, and his last name is Joshua, the most famous Ephraimite in the whole Bible? The same way how Haitians got names like Jean-Baptiste and Moses are popular last names amongst Haitians. That's not a coincidence. Huh? So these are things that we got to understand and not be so simple and carnal. All right, so now, matter of fact, yeah, let's open the service up, man, and we'll go after that. All right. Okay. Barakatah Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Hahawa Nathanawa. Shabbat. Or Salaki, in this case, Kadash. All right. Now, go ahead and say the Lord's Prayer, priest aside. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwathka, Taba'ah, Wazaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'aratazah, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Nathanawa, Lacham, Kal Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawathinawa, Wala'ah, Tawayanawa, Banasaya 1, Abal, Hawashai now, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwat, Wa'ala, Wa'athapa Arath, La'awalumyam, Aman. So the number 6 prayer. Hold on a second. Yabaraka, Yahweh, Washamarka, Ya'ar, Yahweh, Panyawa, Ayaka, Wayakanka, Yasha, Yahweh, Ayaka, Wayasham, Laka, Shalom, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. We're going to do the Shema now. Shema YASHARAHLA, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Echad. Shemai, YASHARAHLA, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Echad. Shemai, YASHARAHLA, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Echad. All right, we're gonna bless the Torah. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai.
Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai.
Ahawa'ah.
Ahawa'ah.
Nathan Lanawa.
Nathan Lanawa.
Hathawara.
Hathawara.
All right, now real quick, matter of fact, I want to do this too, because we won't go into this before we get into the portion of just dealing with this being in the 4th month and the symbolism of the 4th month being the time of harvest. We're going to do the harvest prayer real quick. Oh, yeah. Boom. Okay. Abanawa Yahweh.
Abanawa Yahweh.
Adawan Kotazayor.
Adawan Kotazayor.
Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahushua.
Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahushua.
Babakusha, Babakusha, Babakusha.
Babakusha, Babakusha, Babakusha.
Nabai Amoyim.
Nabai Amoyim.
Nabai Rab Amoyim.
Nabai Rabbi Amoyim.
Kotazayar the Kap.
Kotazayar the Kap.
Yom Yeshai.
Yom Yeshai.
YASHARAHLA.
YASHARAHLA.
Babakusha, Babakusha, Babakusha.
Babakusha, Babakusha, Babakusha.
Abanawa Yahweh.
Abanawa Yahweh.
Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahushua.
Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahushua.
The water Aman.
Wa'aman.
What we said was, our Father Yahweh, Lord of harvest, in the name of your anointed Yahweh Shai, please, please, please send laborers, send many laborers for the harvest, hasten the day of salvation for Israel. Please, 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 our Father Yahweh, in the name of the anointed Yahweh Shai. Thank you, amen. So, essentially, with this being that month when the harvest is coming, and we know we're asking the Lord of the harvest, both literal and physical harvest, Yahweh, to send laborers into the harvest to get more fruit. So we need more brothers out here. Who is that? James Robinson. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Barakatah Water for your generous donation. Okay. We want to send more laborers out into that workforce. What workforce? The workforce of getting on the highways and byways and preaching this word and waking up blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians who are the 12 tribes of Israel. So we pray. We have to beseech Yahweh, beg Yahweh to send more brothers into these streets to teach his word. Because the harvest is plenteous, but the laborers are few. All right, so Yahweh Shai gave us a command. He said, pray the Lord of the harvest that he send laborers into the harvest. So that's what we're just praying for in the spirit. Right? Precept?
Well, I was just going to get that. Matthew chapter 9, verse 37. Then saith he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few.
There's so many blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that need this word, but there's not enough brothers on the streets teaching this word.
Okay.
So we pray to the Most High that he sends more brothers onto these street corners. Okay, how is that in the form of? Some brothers may come and get with SICARRI. Some brothers may go and get with another camp. Some brothers are going to start their own camp.
Right.
I don't give a damn how you do it. Just do it.
That's right.
Ain't nothing to it but to do it by Hashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai, man. Okay. Right? Precept.
Romans chapter 10, verse 14. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard?
Go ahead.
And how shall they hear without a preacher?
They're not going to know. Blacks and Hispanics, people go, man, that's off. People see somebody, that's off. Right? Everybody knows you got Cardi B and the City Girls going crazy right now, right? Everybody knows they're off. Wicked. Somebody cursed me out. I made a troll post on Facebook. Some nigga said I was justifying the wicked because I said Cardi's the GOAT, but I was trolling, right? So, but people are going, well, they're so off and they're so wicked. Okay, you're right. I don't disagree, but read that. Read.
Khan, it says, how then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed?
Read on.
And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard?
Of whom what?
They have not heard.
They haven't heard. Read.
Khan, it says, and how shall they hear without a preacher?
See that? So I understand when we see brothers and sisters of ours that are lost out here, we have to understand that how can they understand this? And how can they believe the truth if there wasn't a preacher that gave them the truth and they heard it? How? It's impossible. So if you want that type of behavior to be curved and to be ceased amongst our people, what we got to do is go into these streets and keep pushing this word out so they don't have an excuse, so they hear it. Now, if they hear it and they don't repent, then that's on them. Go ahead.
John chapter 15, verse 22. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin.
See that? Go ahead.
But now they have no cloak for their sin.
There's no cloak now. So that's why it's important that we teach. Because if they hear the gospel, right, then there's no excuse. I'm going to show you something, right? I've been talking to a priest Kahan, and I've mentioned this before, and I still ain't done it. I don't know why I'm BSing. Probably because it's sitting and writing this. crazy writing handwritten letters. But one of the city girls, now she's in jail. She was supposed to get out in November. It looked like she's going to do her whole bid, which I believe is 2 years, right? So now, let's say, and she's accepting fan mail, right? So let's say I write her a letter, right? Or some other brother or sister writes her a letter telling her the truth. She gets it, receives it, opens that letter, reads it, right?
Right.
At that point, if she gets out and she continues propagating what she's been propagating, then that's on her. She has sinned. Why? Because she heard. Read that again.
John chapter 15, verse 22. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin.
See that? She had not had sin. Why? Because she didn't hear. She didn't know any better. Read.
But now they have no cloak for their sin.
But there's no cloak if you hear. So if we want our people to correct their actions, we have to preach to them. But if we preach to them and they don't repent, there's no cloak for their actions, and sin is going to be imputed unto them, and they're going to be judged for that. You're only getting that pardon from repenting and turning from that and coming and being renewed in Hamashiach Yahushua. Period. Ain't no other way around it. Right? So it's important that we teach, okay, so we can reap this harvest full of nothing but the beautiful sons and daughters of God, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
That's right.
Right? That's it on that. Let's read that scripture about the harvest again.
Okay. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 9.
Y'all right. No. John 4 and 35. That's
Okay.
John 4 and 35.
Okay, this is John chapter 4, verse 35. Say not ye, there are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvest.
So it's 4 months and then cometh harvest, right? Hold that now. Or I'll read this, Leviticus 23 and 10. Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. So the feast of first fruits is a feast of harvest. When did Yahushua said the harvest come right here? 4 months. So if you're celebrating the feast of first fruits in this lunar cycle, then you have to agree that this is the 4th month. That's why this class is entitled what? New Moon Shabbat service, 4th month. Why? Because it's the 4th month, because this is when we're celebrating the feast of first fruits on what you call June the 23rd. Now, every other camp, they'll be celebrating the feast of first fruits in June too. So what does that mean they're saying? 4th month. But will some of them say we're in the 3rd month? Yes, they will. Right? And a lot of that has to do with brothers not understanding that the feast of first fruits is supposed to be kept on the 100th day instead of the 50th. Let's get that in Leviticus 23, matter of fact.
This is Leviticus chapter 23, verse, let's get to the point. Okay.
There's 7 Sabbaths.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. It's like 30 or 20. Hold on, is it? I'm not tripping.
Yeah, about Shemi Al-Shah brought the it's correct, brother came in.
I could be tripping. Okay. We're looking for Pentecost, right?
Feast of first fruits, yeah.
Okay. My bad, it was right here the whole time. This is Leviticus chapter 23, verse 15. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath.
Read on.
From the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths.
7 Sabbaths, right? Feast of first fruits is 7 Sabbaths. Salakia, go ahead, read that again.
Okay. It says 7 Sabbaths shall be complete.
7 Sabbaths, right? Read on.
It says even unto the morrow after the 7th
then
Sabbath.
On the morrow after the 7th Sabbath. We know math. 7 Sabbaths, 49 days. Plus 1, that's 50. The morrow after. Read on.
Shall ye number 50 days.
Then you number 50. After 7 Sabbaths, then you number 50. So that's about 100 days, because 7 Sabbaths is not even exactly 49 days, right? Because you have to deal with transitional days, etc. But it's a 7 Sabbaths plus 50 days. So that's approximately 100 days. But a lot of brothers are keeping it on the 50th day instead of the 100th day, right? So you still start a month back, because a lot of brothers started late, which is why they say they're in the 3rd month. But if you start a month back, you're still having a Feast of First Fruits that's in the time of harvest, exactly lining up with Scripture. But instead, if you're having a Feast of First Fruits in the 3rd month, you have to know something is off, right? But in truth, this is the 4th month and not the 3rd month. But I just wanted to edify on that briefly. In the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Oh, what's good, brother Gad coming in there. Zayaza, Shalom, Yashakar. We're going to get into our Torah portion as we do every Shabbat service. So we're going to go to Leviticus 24 and 10. And we're going to read from here unto the end of the book of Leviticus. So go ahead.
This is Leviticus chapter 24, verse 10. It says, and the son of an Israelitish woman, whose father was an Egyptian, went out among the children of Israel.
What does that mean? He is not an Israelite. He's an Egyptian. But the reason he's with us is because his mother is an Israelite. His daddy ain't come with us, right? But here she is, single Israelite mother with the seed of a heathen, and he's amongst us in the Exodus, right? He's amongst us in the wilderness. Go ahead.
It says, went out among the children of Israel, and this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together in the camp.
So now, of course, this heathen, he get into it with a child of God, right? They're getting it, they strove. They're fighting, right? Read on.
And the Israelitish woman's son blasphemed the name of Yahweh.
So because of his anger and being mad, of course, what happens is, you know, when you fight somebody, you want to get disrespectful. You may say something about somebody's mother, you know, things of that nature. But oftentimes when you have two people from two different cultures, oftentimes the type of insults that'll be employed to fuel the fire of the fight or in frustration will be racially motivated. So how does he make a racial or culturally motivated insult towards this brother as a result of his anger and his loss of the fight? He blasphemes the God of this brother, the God of Israel, Yahweh, right? Read on.
It says, and cursed, and they brought him unto Moses.
So they oh, you said what? It's one thing for y'all to have a little fade. A fade is nothing. But now, you as a heathen, you as anybody period, but let alone a heathen, who the Lord just destroyed his people for Israel, gave his people a ransom for Israel, has blasphemed the Almighty Yahweh. Now we gotta bind this nigga up and present him to Moses. Read on.
It says, and they brought him unto Moses, and his mother's name was Shelomith, the daughter of Dibri of the tribe of Dan.
Right, so this is a Danite woman, right, who have an Egyptian son. Read on.
It says, and they put him inward, that the mind of Yahweh might be showed them.
They put him inward, right? You hear inward. They put him inward, meaning they put him in essentially a makeshift jail. That's what that means, in a ward, right? Have you heard of the psychiatric ward? They put him in ward. Read on.
And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, bring forth him that hath cursed without the camp, and let all that heard him lay their hands upon his head.
Salakia, go ahead.
And let all the congregation stone him. And thou shalt...
He said everybody got to snatch him up that heard him, and they got to stone this nigga, right? Go ahead.
That's cool. That deacon just posted there. It says, and thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, whosoever curseth his God shall bear his sin. And he that blasphemeth the name of Yahweh, he shall surely be put to death. And all the congregation shall certainly stone him, as well the stranger, as he that is born in the land, when he blasphemeth the name of Yahweh, shall be put to death. And he that killeth any man shall surely be put to death. And he that killeth a beast shall make it good, beast for beast.
That's right, beast for beast, right? So it's talking about the reciprocity within the system, right? Go ahead.
It says, and if a man causeth a blemish in his neighbor, as he hath done, so shall it be done unto him. Breach for breach, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, as he hath caused a blemish in a man.
Boom. Go ahead.
So shall it be done to him again. And he that killed...
You black my eye, I black your eye. You knock my tooth out, your tooth gotta go. Right? Read on.
And he that killeth a beast, he shall restore it. And he that killeth a man, he shall be put to death.
That's right. You gonna restore it that way, through getting put to death. Go ahead.
Ye shall have one manner of law, as well for the stranger, as for one of your own country. For I am Yahweh your God.
Read on.
And Moses spake to the children of Israel, that they should bring forth him that had cursed out of the camp, and stone him with stones. And the children of Israel did as Yahweh commanded Moses. This is the book of Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 1. And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses in the Mount Sinai, saying, speak unto the children of Israel. Am I reading a little too fast?
No, you good.
Okay. Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto the Lord. 6 years.
Something called the land Sabbath, right? Read on.
6 years thou shalt sow thy field, and 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard, and gather in the fruit thereof. But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for the Lord. Thou shalt neither sow thy field nor prune thy vineyard. That which groweth of its own accord of thy harvest thou shalt not reap, neither gather the grapes of thy vine undressed, for it is a year of rest unto the land. And the Sabbath of the land shall be meat for you, for thee, and for thy servant, and for thy maid, and for thy hired servant, and for thy stranger that sojourneth with thee. And for thy cattle, and for the beasts that are in thy land, shall all the increase thereof be meat. And thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years unto thee, 7 times 7 years. And the space of the 7 Sabbaths of years shall be unto thee 49 years.
See that? 49 years. Read on.
Then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month.
See that? So on the 10th day of the 7th month, we have something called a Jubilee, right? Jubilee is like a mass debt forgiveness, right? Go ahead.
In the day of atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your lands. And ye shall hallow the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof.
Oh, so in that 50th year, every 50 years, right? We would do this. We would just have a year of total liberty, right? Go ahead. It's what we're supposed to do. Not saying that we actually did this, because let's be honest, there's a lot of things that we were supposed to do that we went into the land of Israel and we didn't do, right? Like during the time of Ezra, they said we never kept the Feast of Tabernacles.
Yeah.
From the time we went into the land all the way to the time of Ezra, right? Which we're talking about easily 600 years plus, really a little more than 600 years, right? Maybe 7, 8. We never kept the Feast of Tabernacles. You got brothers keeping it now, even if a lot of brothers will keep it one day, right? Ain't able to sleep in a tent all week. A lot of people do it one day too, like we did it 2 days last year. That means we kept it more than even David kept it. Ain't that crazy? Go ahead.
Come. It says, in the day of atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your land. And ye shall hallow the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee unto you, and ye shall return every man unto his possession. And you should return every man his possession, and ye shall return every man unto his family. A jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you. Ye shall not sow, neither reap that which groweth of itself in it, nor gather the grapes in it of thy vine undressed. For it is the jubilee. It shall be holy unto you. Ye shall eat the increase thereof out of the field. In the year of this jubilee ye shall return every man into his possession. And if thou sell aught unto thy neighbor, or buyest aught of thy neighbor's hand, ye shall not oppress one another.
You see that? So it's talking about, so a lot of times somebody may sell something collaterally, temporarily. Somebody may even sell themselves in a servitude. When that Jubilee year comes, that's over. That's out. Everyone's freed on the 10th day of the 7th month. Go ahead.
It says, according to the number of years after the Jubilee thou shalt buy of thy neighbor, and according unto the number of years of the fruits he shall sell unto thee. According to the multitude of years thou shalt increase the price thereof, and according to the fewness of years thou shalt diminish the price of it.
Essentially, our whole economy was based off of these things, right? One thing, our economy, our monetary value was predicated upon the amount of riches and gold that we had in the temple. All right, that's called the temple shekel, right? But then we had the prices of things were determined about how close or far away we were in time to the Jubilee year. This is what our whole economy was based off of. Go ahead.
It says, and according unto the number.
Well, D-Walk. Now, hypothetically, going into Israel and dealing with the inheritance that we all had, it would all be the same. It would all be the same, predicated upon we all went into Israel at the same time. We all got an inheritance at the same time, right? And then the inheritance is passed down through family, right? So it's not like we're not supposed to really be going out there and purchasing somebody else's land and things of that nature. If we do, it's only temporary, because land allotment is not supposed to pass from tribe to tribe, right? So go ahead.
It says, according to the multitude of years thou shalt increase the price thereof, and according to the fewness of years thou shalt diminish the price of it.
So the closer we get to the Jubilee, the less expensive things get, right? And then that first year after the Jubilee, things are going to go up again, right? Just kind of like in America, just so y'all can understand it, in America, certain times of the year might be a sale going on. Let's say during around the holiday season, right? Xmas, what they call Christmas. A lot of time, what happens around that time? Black Friday, it's a sale. The closer you get to Christmas, you got things on sale, right? Because they want people to come and buy. So things are lower than the closer you get. But as soon as that season's over, things are back through the roof, or things are back at the high price that they were, right? So it's the same way, but we didn't do it once a year. We're putting a tree in the house and things like that. No, we're doing this over the course of 50 years, right? 49 years away from the Jubilee year, things are going to be expensive, right? And things decrease the closer and closer we get to that 50th year, right? Read on.
It says, and according to the fewness of years thou shalt diminish the price of it. For according to the number of the years of the fruits doth he sell unto thee. Ye shall not therefore oppress one another, but thou shalt fear thy God, for I am Yahweh your God.
Yeah, if you know Jubilee near is next year, you need to jack them price. You need to lower them prices for your goods that you're selling. You need to. Anything short of that is oppression, right? Read on.
It says, wherefore ye shall do my statutes and keep my judgments and do them, and ye shall dwell in the land in safety. In the land shall yield her fruit, and ye shall eat your fill and dwell therein in safety. And if ye shall say, what shall we eat the 7th year? Behold, we shall not sow nor gather in our increase. Then I will command my blessing upon you in the 6th year, and it shall bring forth fruit for 3 years.
So we're going to have enough. Every 6th year, we would have enough that it would abundantly last us over the course of the 7th year, the 8th year, and the 9th year. Why? Because we couldn't do any of that in the 7th year. Then in the 8th year, we got to restart, so that takes time. So stuff wasn't going to be ready until the 9th year. The same way when he told us to go and gather on the 6th day, and he would give us enough on the 6th day for the 7th day. The Most High showed us this all throughout the Bible, right? So go ahead. Exactly, like the brother Raz said, that's crazy. Plan inflation and deflation to stabilize the economy. Yahweh is great, man. And you have people who want to criticize the scripture in the Torah and say it's not practical. You only say that because your dumbass ain't read it. If you would read it, you see, damn, there's an economic stabilization going on. There's a welfare system that's developed. There's equality and reciprocity that is enforced as law. This is what is needed. Right? But and then you got Christians that'll tell you the law is done away with. This same law, this perfect and royal and holy law, right?
Yeah, it's contrary to us.
It's contrary to us, but they'll keep American law. They got 20,000 laws.
Right.
Madness. Read on.
It says, It says, and ye shall sow the 8th year and eat yet of old fruit unto the 9th year, until her fruits come in.
No, D-Walk. It's not about tribes mixing. It's about tribes owning land in other tribes' allotment. Like, this is where Judah lives. Benjamin shouldn't own land in Judah's gates. Right? Levi is not owning land all over the place. Levi got 12 cities in each of the 12 tribes and suburbs surrounding it, and that's our part. We can't say, okay, here, Judite, here's a piece of my city, my Levite city, even though we're in Judah. I can't go and sell like Ashan. That's a Levite suburb in Judah. Let's say I got a field in Ashan. I can't sell, a Judite can't have that. That's mine. You see what I'm saying? So, because the inheritance is not supposed to pass from tribe to tribe. So you can deal with whatever tribe woman you want. When she leave her father's house and come into your house, right? And she bring up children to you, those children are what? Your tribe. That's not hers. Her people is not getting that from generation to generation. Yours are. She's just the soil that you're planting your seed in. Right? So read on.
It says, until her fruits come in, ye shall eat of the old store. Verse 23. The land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine. For ye are strangers and sojourners with me. And in all the land of your possession ye shall grant a redemption for the land. If thy brother be waxen poor, and hath sold away some of his possession, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which his brother sold.
See that? You redeem what your brother sold. It's redeemable. Right? Like a mail-in rebate. Things can be redeemed that people sell off. This is a part of the charitable nature of our Torah and the love that we have amongst each other, right? You can't own it, but you can rent it, grow crops on it until exactly. You can only have possession of it for a certain period of time. It's like a mortgage. But after that Jubilee comes, it's got to go back to the brother whose it was. And by that time, what the brother has acquired from that is helping him to economically get back on his feet. Or he'll go and become a hired servant for a certain amount of time, and he'll go out and he'll get a pay when he go out. And during that time, when he come out of there, now he getting back on his feet. So the Most High had it to where if you fell poor, there were mechanisms for you to get back on your feet because of inherited rights that you had as an Israelite. As an Israelite, you had land. That's just a part of, this is your heritage. It say the land itself is our heritage. Why? Because it was promised to Abraham that it would be ours. So it's our heritage, that land. So each and every one of us was born having a portion of land that we each were in particular owning, right? And we worked on and things like that with our family. So we had an ability to sell that, right? We can sell that land, right? Or essentially lease it for a time, and any other Israelite could come and for a time utilize that land. But when the time of Jubilee came, they got to sell that land, or they got to give that land back to you. So then now you have a mechanism to get yourself back on your feet, and you ain't got to be a beggar forever, right? But who came and ruined that? The white man, starting with the Greeks. Greeks come and sacking and doing what they did to us, and then later the Romans, they created nothing but confusion. And even starting even before that with the Assyrians, created nothing but confusion amongst our people. So we see partially that practice not happening anymore, right? You hear about, when you read the New Testament, by the time we get to the New Testament, there are so many Israelites that have been displaced. You have a whole gang of Israelites that live in Galilee, right? A whole bunch of Israelites in Galilee. So you have a whole gang of Israelites that live in Galilee. These Galileans are Jews, Southern Kingdom, but they live in Galilee, right? Now, if you know about Galilee, Galilee belonged to Naphtali, to Gad, and to Issachar. So why is it all these Southern Kingdom are up in there in Galilee? Well, number one, the Northern Kingdom have been displaced. Then you have replacements come in, Hamites that come into much of Samaria and take that. So you have to where we had Judea in the south, then we had to skip over Samaria and go into Galilee, and that was another Israelite area. But who was living there is not the original people that inhabited there. Who's living there are Jews. Why? Because the white man came and messed it all up to where our land was taken, we were displaced, things of that nature. So only certain families had the land that they rightfully were supposed to have. Other people just had to go move around and live wherever the hell they can live. No, the book of Jubilees is not God's word. It's made up. Go ahead.
This is Leviticus 25 and 26. And if the man have none to redeem it, and himself be able to redeem it, then let him count the years of the sale thereof, and restore the overplus unto the man to whom he sold it, that he may return unto his possession.
So now he said, look, I done got my stuff together. Here goes the money for the rest of this lease. We're breaking the lease. Shalom. I'm taking my stuff back. Shalom. Right? Go ahead.
But if he be not able to restore it to him, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that had bought it unto the year of the Jubilee.
Exactly. So now instead of the rent where I'm renting this out and I'm cutting you in on the profits, now I keep all the profit until the time of Jubilee, and then after when the time of Jubilee comes, the rightful owner comes back and repossesses his land. And the other brother goes and does whatever he does, go back to his land. Right? Go ahead. Jewish or Jews of Judah. When I say the Jews, it's the Southern Kingdom. All right, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Go ahead. The new moon is the full moon. Yeah, you're out of here, button. You got to be I'm gonna be honest with you. You got to be a fool to believe that.
Yeah, that's
I'm saying it.
It's stupid.
It's stupid to believe, man.
Okay.
Right. Go ahead.
It says. Okay, and in the Jubilee it shall go out, and he shall return into his possession. Verse 29. And if a man sell a dwelling house in a walled city, then he may redeem it within a whole year after it is sold.
So you got in the suburbs, you got fields, but in a walled city, things are a little bit different. Okay, things are a little bit different now. The Book of Jubilees is crazy, man. In a walled city is different. In a walled city, you have houses. Same way now, like you go out to the country, you see fields, but when you're in a city, you see what? Houses, apartments, things of that nature. So we had houses within the city, right? So within the city, you can sell a crib, right? Not a whole patch of land, but a crib, right? Read.
Okay. It says, within a full year may he redeem it. And if it be not redeemed within the space of a full year, then the house that is in a walled city shall be established forever to him that bought it throughout his generations.
So within a city, it's a little bit different, right? Whoever copped it, if it's not redeemed within a year, just like now, you have what Polite does. He does schemes on the liens, a tax lien. So you could put a tax lien. They'll put a tax lien on a property, right? And when they put a tax lien on a property, it can be redeemed in a certain amount of time by the rightful owner. But if the rightful owner doesn't redeem it, then anybody could come and buy the tax debt and take possession of the home. That's how the American system comes up. Polite lies and tells people he'll do that for them. And when you send him the $10,000 to purchase the tax debt on a particular home, he takes it, he puts it in his pocket. Nobody owns the home, right? That's what that nigga does. But in the American, legal system, you can do that. Where does that come from? The Bible, all right? We had that same practice. We had that same practice to where if you could sell the house if you come up on hard times or rent it out, but within a year's time, if somebody paid for that and has it for a year's time, and you haven't redeemed it within that year's time, that's that man's home. Because it's the city, and the city works different than the country. All right? Just like now, you go into a city, you're in a major city, it's different than the outskirts, right? So got squatters' rights, like the brother. See that? And you think the white man made all this up. People think the white man made this stuff up. No, this comes from the Bible, man. And what other people got this type of intricate system in it that I'm supposed to follow? Huh? So read that.
God. It says, it shall not go out in the Jubilee, but the house of the villages which have no wall round about them shall be counted as the fields of the country. They may be redeemed, and they shall go out in the Jubilee.
So the fields of the country, the fields, they can be redeemed at any point. And if they're not redeemed before the Jubilee, they're redeemed in the Jubilee. Right? Go ahead.
Notwithstanding,
when I say Jew, I'm not talking about X-Men. All right? Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, the cities of the Levites and the houses of the cities of their possession, may the Levites redeem at any time.
The Levite come and take back what he wants when he feel like it, right? So because Levi, again, we have 48 cities in Israel, right? So a lot of people say, "Oh, Levi doing the suburbs." That's true, but we don't just have suburbs. We have 48 cities, and the suburbs that surround the 48 cities we have. In each of the 12 tribes, we had 12 cities, right? So if you rented a house from a Levite and you rented it for a year, it ain't yours after a year. It's yours until the Levite feel like come taking it back, right? Come and redeeming it back. Got to be redeemed, right? It's got to be a equal financial transaction. Just because we're Levites don't mean we can screw people over. No, but we have certain advantages, right? But go ahead.
And if a man purchase of the Levites, then the house that was sold in the city of his possession shall go out in the year of Jubilee.
So in the case of if it hadn't been redeemed, it is redeemed in Jubilee, like how land is redeemed. But any other Israelite, you only got a year to buy that crib back, right? Go ahead.
For the houses of the cities of the Levites are their possession among the children of Israel.
Because at the end of the day, it's really all we have is that. All we have is what the Most High gave us. We don't have all the abilities of everyone else because we have a profession that is priesthood. So because priesthood is our profession, being a shepherd is not our profession, right? Another tribe might be a shepherd, and he makes his money from being a shepherd. He may make things, and he makes his money that way. That's not what we do. We don't have time to do that because our job is priesthood. So because our job is priesthood, this is a way to kind of balance the totem pole out, right? Go ahead.
It says, But the field of the suburbs of their cities may not be sold, for it is their perpetual possession.
Exactly. So it say what? Read that again.
It says, but the field of the suburbs of their cities may not be sold.
So our fields of Levi cannot be sold. So I can rent you my house if I'm a Levite, which I am, right? And we in Israel. I can rent you a house that I own, but I can't rent you or lease to you my field. Read.
For it is their perpetual possession.
That's mine forever. There's nothing, no other tribe is supposed to have that. Ever. Right? Read on.
And if thy brother be waxen poor and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him. Yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. Take thou no usury of him or increase, but fear thy God, that thy brother may live with thee. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend him thy victuals for increase. I am Yahweh your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, to give you the land of Canaan, and to be your God. It says, this is Leviticus 25 and 39.
It's not Chickadee Israel. It is not 28 days in every new moon. Okay? You would know that. All you got to do is look at the moon. First off, the moon stays full sometimes for 2 days. So what does that let you know? It's an elongated month. 360-day year is what? 12 30-day months, not 12 28-day months. If you got 12 28-day months, now let's see. If every month and every cycle is 28 days, watch this. It's 28 days. So let's do the math. 28 times 12. That means our year is 336 days. What sense do that make? Oh, I know, none. So no, every lunation cycle is not 28 days. If you would follow the lunation cycle, you would understand. First off, the lunation cycle is not even a set. It's not fixed. That's what the mindset we got to get out of. That's the white man's mindset, that everything is fixed. Right? Everything is not fixed. Our calendrical system is predicated entirely off of observation. So if the moon was dark this evening, what does that let me know? It's the new moon. Not when somebody tells me it's the new moon, but I can still see the damn light of the moon. Not waning, but not waxing, but waning. That don't even make no sense. The moon was dark. What does that mean? It's a new moon. Right? That's what I know. So then what? Every 7 days after here is the Shabbat, which will be the half moon, the full moon, then another half, then back to black. No offense, my sister, but you gotta understand something. We didn't just start doing this. We've been following a calendrical system that's made up of the moon, as our forefathers did pursuant to Genesis, the first chapter, for probably before you knew you were an Israelite. So trust me, right? No, you wouldn't have to have a 13-month out. You would probably have to have a 14-month sometimes, because you got a leap year, right? But go ahead.
Verse 39, and if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxen poor, and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bondservant, but as an hired servant, and as a sojourner he shall be with thee, and shall serve thee unto the year of Jubilee. And then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family.
Exactly. So he come and serve you for a time because he waxing poor, then he leave. Get back on his feet. Right? Go ahead.
And unto the possession of his fathers shall he return. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondmen. Thou shalt not.
Exactly. Israelites are not supposed to be bond slaves. Right? And we shouldn't be enslaving one another. Right? Go ahead.
Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shall fear thy God. Both thy bondmen.
So you treat your fellow Israelite right. Go ahead.
Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you.
So for your slaves, not your servants now, but your slaves, they're from the heathen. That's who's supposed to do that. Read on.
Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession. This is a financial transaction for human beings.
That's right.
Okay, verse 46. And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession.
So we're dealing with somebody in a state of perpetual slavery.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead.
They shall be your bondmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Israel,
your fellow Israelite, read.
Ye shall not rule one over another with rigor.
That's right. Go ahead.
And if a sojourner or stranger wax...
Joseph, how is Joseph two tribes? Yeah. Joseph is one tribe. Yeah. Who are you learning from? It said a half tribe of Ephraim and a half tribe of Manasseh. So read.
Okay. It says, and if a sojourner or stranger wax rich by thee, and thy brother that dwelleth by him wax poor, and sell himself unto the stranger or sojourner by thee, or to the stock of the stranger's family, after that he is sold, he may be redeemed again. Mm-hmm. One of his brethren may redeem him.
That's right. One of his brethren may redeem him. So that's redemption. Read on.
I guess there is 13. No, I'm not going to slack you. Either his uncle or his uncle's son may redeem him, or any that is nigh of kin unto him of his family may redeem him, or if he be able, he may redeem himself. And he shall reckon with him that bought him from the year that he was sold to him unto the year of Jubilee. And the price of his sale shall be according unto the number of years. According to the time of an hired servant shall it be with him. If there be yet many years behind according unto them, he shall give again the price of his redemption out of the money that he was bought for. And if there remain but few years unto the year of Jubilee, then he shall count with him, and according unto his years shall he give him again the price of his redemption. And as a yearly hired servant shall he be with him, and the other shall not...
Chickadee, if 29 to 30 days doesn't make sense, tell that to the moon. Let's just take a look real quick. You know what, since we got we got a sister that's a know-it-all in here. All right? Give me the 1 Corinthians, please. You know what I want. Since we got to know it all in here, right? That's all right. That's all right. We're going to show her. We're going to show her she doesn't know what she's talking about. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh, what is this? All right. Okay. All right. You got what I need?
I don't know what you're looking for.
So you got it?
Okay, I thought you wanted the one in Timothy.
Okay, let me get this first. I want all of them. Well, let me since y'all we've been interrupted by somebody who thinks they know what they're talking about. Okay.
I got it though.
Okay, well let's just keep it on deck for me. Keep it right on deck for me. No capsule. Let's go here. I want to blow this up, right? It's for the know-it-all. Chickadee, right? Watch this. I want everybody to see this, right? We can see it? Okay. So yesterday, as y'all can see here, Saturday, y'all notice something? There's a sliver there that you can see. See this sliver? See the sliver, right? Now, here it's black. What does that let you know? It's new, it's dark, right? But let's say you don't go off the dark moon. Let's say you go off the last sliver. Or no, people who don't go off the dark, they go off the first light, Salakia. So you either go off the dark moon or the first light. She said it was 2 days ago. That would be Friday night. Sunday night's when it was dark. It'll be dark Monday night as well. And the first light will be Tuesday. So you only have 3 options here. Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday for when you're saying the new moon is. She's alleging that the new moon was 2 days ago on Friday, right? Let's go back. Can I go to June? Can I go to May? Let's go to 2019. May. Right? Let's see what it was on Friday night. There's plenty of light on Friday night. How was that a new moon? What are you talking about? Now get the Bible.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 34. It says, let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law.
She really should shut up because she doesn't know what she's talking about. And I tried to be nice to her, but she left me no choice but not only to correct her, but now to go into the Bible and tell her what she needs to do right now is shut up. Right? Now give me another precept.
It's 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 11. 11 and 12. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man.
And this is why he suffers you not to do that, because you don't know what the hell you're talking about, and you got confounded on something that's very elementary. So call all Yahweh Shem Yahushai. No, we don't go out the first light, we go out dark moon. Preparation day would have came in on Saturday. Okay? So go ahead. That was it on that?
It says, but to be in silence.
That's what she should be. But now she had to get cut in front of everybody. Tried to spare her. All right? So again, if you go off dark, we go off dark. But even if you go off first light, new moon is not Friday. That wasn't even the last light of the last lunar cycle. So what is the sister talking about? She has no idea. Yes, when it's to the left, it's at the end of the cycle, right? And the last bit of light, i.e., which have been the first Saturday, the 1st of June, that would have been the day of preparation where the trumpet is blown, right? Let me go back to June. The day of preparation, when the trumpet is blown, right, would have been here. So you are prepared for the Shabbat to come in, or the new moon to come, new moon Shabbat to come in the following night. Okay? But let's say somebody goes off of, see, this is why you can't go off of first light, because it's dark, right? And see, it's dark for 2 days here. So if you were going off the dark moon, it could be dark for 2 days. So if you blow the trumpet, the next day may not be the first light. This is a perfect example of that. All praise Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So here you are now having a Shabbat that's not the first light. You would have to wait 2 days. But if you go off the last light, then you know emphatically the next night it'll be dark. If you go off the last light, when it's to the left, like the brother said. So that's why through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, we observe it the way we do. Okay? So now, back to the lecture at hand. Go ahead.
Leviticus chapter 25, verse 50, or verse 49. Either his uncle or his uncle's son may redeem him, or any that is nigh of kin unto him of his family may redeem him, or if he be able, he may redeem himself. And he shall reckon with him that bought him from the year that he was sold to him unto the year of Jubilee. And the price of his sale shall be according unto the number of years. According to the time of an hired servant shall it be with him. If there be yet many years behind, according unto them he shall give again the price of his redemption out of the money that he was bought for. And if there remain but few years unto the year of Jubilee, then he shall count with him, and according unto his years shall he give him again the price of his redemption. And as a yearly hired servant shall he be with him, and the other shall not rule with rigor over him in thy sight. And if he be not redeemed in these years, then he shall go out in the year of Jubilee, both he and his children with him. For unto me the children of Israel are servants. They are my servants, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh your God. It's Leviticus chapter 26, verse 1. It says, Ye shall make you no idols, nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land, to bow down unto it, for I am the Lord your God. Ye shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary, I am Yahweh. If ye walk in my statutes, and keep my commandments, and do them, then I will give you rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase.
Yeah, so he's going to bless us as long as we keep his commandments. What was that first thing he said in 26? Not making idols. What was the first thing you see in the church? Idols. Huh? So read.
And the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit. And your threshing shall reach unto the vintage, and the vintage shall reach unto the sowing time, and ye shall eat your bread to the full, and dwell in your land safely. And I will give peace in the land, and ye shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. And I will rid evil beasts out of the land, neither shall the sword go through your land. And ye shall chase your enemies, and ye shall fall before you by the sword. And that's part of the reason why they don't want the Christian church doesn't want you to keep the law.
That's right.
Because they don't want you to, because you shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. So of course they're going to tell you don't keep the law, so that you can't do things like that. Right. So that the exact opposite happens. It says, and 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemies shall fall before you by the sword.
It can't happen if you're not keeping the law. Go ahead.
For I will have respect unto you, and make you fruitful, and multiply you, and establish my covenant with you. And ye shall eat old store, and bring forth the old because of the new. And I will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you. And I will walk among you, and will be your God, and ye shall be my people. I am Yahweh your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, that you should not be their bondmen, and I have broken the bands of your yoke, and made you go upright. This is now Leviticus. Chickadee's sister, you better mind yourself, I promise you.
What does she do now? You unblocked now, but I promise you, act up if you wanna. All right, you can listen to the City Girls if you want.
I was just about to say, I didn't know if I should.
You can act up, you can get smacked up.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but
you know, it's in this. It had to come out in the spirit.
Yeah,
we're watching you. All right.
Leviticus 26 and 14.
Hey, where's Tazapanya at, man?
Never would I thought that I would quote in the City Girls.
Hey, Tazapanya, man, go ahead and do that drill, man. You know what I'm saying? If you got to, just be ready. Right? So go ahead.
Leviticus 26 and 14. But if ye will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption.
So that's what we're going through now. Terror and consumption, right? Go ahead.
And the burning egg that shall consume the eyes.
Okay, if you said it was yesterday and not 2 days ago, that's fine. But we substantiated that yesterday. It was a half. I mean, it was light. It was light Saturday. All right. Okay, Salaki, but yeah, we have already substantiated that. All right? Go ahead.
Leviticus 26 and 16. I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning egg, that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I will set my face against you.
Hold on, Salaki, Chickadee. Exodus 16:1 says, we went out in the 15th day of the second month. Yes, that's the Feast of Unleavened Bread. It does not prove your point. All right. You know what? Boom. I had to do the hit. This is insanity. How is it that Cain had Enoch, Methuselah, and Lamech? Except for lineage, you'll find Enoch, Methuselah, and Lamech. Because you know they were related. So, you know, a lot of times you have family names that are consistent. All right, just because there's a white man named Larry and David and James, but you and your family there's a nigga named Larry and David and James. I mean, it just, you know, names they get recycled. Go ahead.
It says.
There we go, Terrence Jefferson. There we go. All praises. Go ahead.
It says, and I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you. Yeah, that's why they don't want you to keep the law right there. If you don't keep the law, then so the white man's gonna tell you, yeah, don't keep the law. Why? So the Most High can set His face against us, and so the white man can come kill us, slay us, and those that hate us can reign over us and flee when none pursue us. So that's why the heathen in general don't want us to keep the law, because they want to reign over us, oppress us, okay, enslave us, because they know when we do keep the law, the exact opposite happens. Verse 18. And if you will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. And I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your heaven as iron, and your earth as brass. All right, verse 20. And your strength shall be spent in vain, for your land shall not yield her increase, neither shall the trees of the land yield their fruits. And if ye walk contrary unto me, and will not hearken unto me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins.
It's getting even. He gonna put us in an even worse position, man. Right? Go ahead.
It says, I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children, and destroy your cattle, and make you few in number. and your highways shall be desolate. And if you will not be reformed by me by these things, but will walk
if that's not good enough, if you still don't want to keep my law, read.
But will walk contrary unto me, then will I also walk contrary unto you, and will punish you yet 7 times for your sins. And I will bring a sword upon you that shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant. And when you are gathered together within your cities, I will send a pestilence among you, and ye shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy. Okay, that's what we're in the position right now. We're delivered into the hand of the enemy. And when I have broken the staff of your bread, 10 women shall bake your bread in one oven. And they shall deliver you your bread again by weight, and ye shall eat and not be satisfied. It says, verse 27, and if you will not for all this hearken unto me, but walk contrary unto me, then I will walk contrary unto you also in fury, and I, even I, will chastise you 7 times for your sins. And ye shall eat the flesh of your sons, and the flesh of your daughters shall ye eat. And I will destroy your high places, and cut down your images, and cast your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idols. And my soul
shall... We're going to die with our idols, man. Go ahead.
And my soul shall abhor you. And I will make your cities waste, and will bring your sanctuaries unto desolation.
That's happened. Go ahead.
And I will not smell the savor of your sweet odors. And I will bring the land into desolation, and your enemies which dwell therein shall be astonished at it. And I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate.
So not only did he scatter us among the heathen, then he drew a sword after us. Right? Go ahead.
Land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. Then shall the land enjoy her Sabbaths, as long as it lieth desolate, and ye be in your enemy's land. Even then shall the land rest and enjoy her Sabbaths. As long as it lieth desolate, it shall rest, because it did not rest in your Sabbaths when ye dwelt upon it. And upon them that are left alive of you, I will send a faintness into their hearts in the land of their enemies, and the sound of a shaken leaf shall chase them.
That's how scary niggas is going to be.
Golly. Hearing a rat piss on cotton basically going to have a nigga shook.
And niggas be like that, man. Nowadays, you can see it.
And they shall flee as fleeing from a sword, and they shall fall when none pursueth. And they shall fall one upon another, as it were before a sword, when none pursueth, and ye shall have no power to stand before your enemies. And ye shall perish among the heathen, and the land of your enemies shall eat you up. And they that are left, brothers and sisters, this is why we got to keep the law, because we're living in a land that's eating us up in every aspect.
It's like you're going off the dark moon. The Shabbat came in sundown Sunday. Right? Go ahead.
It says, and ye shall perish among the heathen, and the land of your enemies shall eat you up. And they that are left of you shall pine away in their iniquity in your enemies' lands. And also in the iniquities of their fathers shall they pine away with them. Verse 40. If they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers with their trespass which they trespass against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, and that I have also walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies, if then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, there's that circumcision of the heart.
There you go.
There's a circumcision of the heart is a Levitical concept.
That's right.
Okay. And they then accept the punishment of their iniquity. Then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land. The land also shall be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbaths, while she lieth desolate without them. And they shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity, because they despise my judgments, and because their soul abhorred my statutes. And yet for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away, neither will I abhor them to destroy them utterly, and to break my covenant with them, for I am Yahweh their God. So the Most High is never going to just do away with us completely, because he has a promise with our ancestors. But I will for their sakes remember the covenant of their ancestors, there you go right there, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt in the sight of the heathen, that I might be their God. I am Yahweh. These are the statutes and judgments and laws which the Lord made between him and the children of Israel in Mount Sinai by the hand of Moses. This is Leviticus chapter 27 verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When a man shall make a singular vow, the person shall be for the Lord by thy estimation. And thy estimation shall be of the male from 20 years old even unto 60 years old. Even thy estimation shall be 50 shekels of silver, after the shekel of the sanctuary. And if it be a female, then thy estimation shall be 30 shekels. And if it be from 5 years old even unto 20 years old, then thy estimation shall be of the male 20 shekels, and for the female 10 shekels. And if it be from a month old even unto 5 years old, then thy estimation shall be of the male 5 shekels of silver, and for the female thy estimation shall be 3 shekels of silver. And if it be from 60 years old and above, if it be a male, then thy estimation shall be 15 shekels, and for the female 10 shekels. But if he be poorer than thy estimation, then he shall present himself before the priest, and the priest shall value him according to his ability, that vowed shall the priest value him. And if it be a beast whereof men bring an offering unto the Lord, all that any man giveth of such unto the Lord shall be holy. He shall not alter it nor change it, a good for a bad, or a bad for a good. And if he shall at all exchange beast for beast, then it and the exchange thereof shall be holy. It says, and if it be any unclean beast of which they do not offer a sacrifice unto the Lord, then he shall present the beast before the priest.
So again, this is all about when you vow something, so you can understand. When you vow something, the monetary amount that you would need to present when you are fulfilling a vow. Okay, go ahead.
And the priest shall value it, whether it be good or bad, as thou valuest it, who art the priest, so shall it be. But if he will at all redeem it, then he shall add a fifth part, thereof unto thy estimation.
Redeem it. So you're taking a beast and you want to redeem the beast, right? So you give the monetary value of the beast plus an additional 20% of whatever the monetary value is. Then you don't have to give the beast to be slaughtered. Instead, you're giving the money, and the money is taken and put in the sanctuary. Go ahead.
Verse 14. It says, and when a man shall sanctify his house to be holy unto the Lord, then the priest shall estimate it, whether it be good or bad. As the priest shall estimate it, so shall it stand. And if he that sanctified it will redeem his house, then he shall add the fifth part of the money of thy estimation unto it, and it shall be his. And if a man shall sanctify unto Yahweh some part of a field of his possession, then thy estimation shall be according to the seed thereof. An omer of barley seed shall be valued at 50 shekels of silver. If he sanctify his field from the year of Jubilee, according to thy estimation it shall stand. But if he sanctify his field after the Jubilee, then the priest shall reckon unto him the money according to the years that remain, even unto the year of Jubilee, and it shall be abated from thy estimation.
Discounted from the estimation. Go ahead.
It says, and if he that sanctified the field will in any wise redeem it, then he shall add the fifth part of the money of thy estimation unto it, and it shall be assured to him. And if he will not redeem the field, or if he have sold the field to another man, it shall not be redeemed any more. But the field, when it goeth out in the Jubilee, shall be holy unto the Lord, as a field devoted. The possession thereof shall be the priest's. And if a man sanctify unto the Lord a field which he hath bought, which is not of the fields of his possession, then the priest shall reckon unto him the worth of thy estimation, even unto the year of the Jubilee. And he shall give thine estimation in that day, as a holy thing unto Yahweh. In the year of the Jubilee the field shall return unto him of whom it was bought, even to him to whom the possession of the land did belong. And all thy estimations shall be according to the shekel of the sanctuary. 20 gerahs shall be the shekel. Only the firstling of the beast, which should be the Lord's firstling, no man shall sanctify it. Whether it be ox or sheep, it is the Lord's. And if it be of an unclean beast, then he shall redeem it according to thine estimation, and shall add a fifth part of it thereto. Or if it be not redeemed, then it shall be sold according to thy estimation. Notwithstanding, no devoted thing that a man shall devote unto Yahweh of all that he hath, both of man and beast, and of the field of his possession, shall be sold or redeemed. Every devoted thing is most holy unto Yahweh. None devoted which shall be devoted of men shall be redeemed, but shall surely be put to death.
No, God doesn't repent in that context, right? They just, when you're dealing with it, he repented him, that meaning he said, I shouldn't have did that, or not like I sinned, but like, you know what, I'm gonna do this instead of that. I did this originally, now I'm gonna do this instead of that, right? So not, I sinned, so I gotta turn from my sin. How can he sin? If sin is transgression of the law, he created the law for men to be subject to. What is he subject to? Nothing. So no, it just means he's changing his mind. He did one thing, now he's doing a different thing. Not that. It repented him that he made man, or what's another one? There's another one, man. I want to say with Moses too. It says that.
Yeah, where it says, and when Moses begged him not to destroy us, and it says, and he repented of it.
Yeah, that he was going to destroy us, but he repented of it because Moses asked him. Yeah. Not he sinned. Right? Like the brother said, regretted. Go ahead.
Yeah, like just cool down in that context. Because that's what Moses was doing, interceding for us.
Exactly.
It says, and all the tithe of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the tree, is Yahweh's. It is holy unto the Lord. And if a man will at all redeem all of his tithes, he shall add thereto the fifth part thereof. And concerning the tithe of the herd or of the flock.
So what happens is this, because the tithes, people always say tithes is not money. Yes, it is. It's just not exclusively money. What would happen is, as opposed to you bringing your animals and or your food there, you would exchange it. You would get the monetary value for whatever your tithes would be, 10% of your increase. But if you do it that way, you then have to add an additional 20% in monetary value, right? So it would technically be a 30% tithe at that point, right? But it's not always. It wasn't always money, okay? I mean, Salakia. It wasn't always money, but people say it's never money, and that's inaccurate. It's certainly not always money, and it certainly is can be money. All right, so you can understand. Go ahead.
Okay. It says, and concerning the tithe of the land or of the flock, even of whatsoever passeth under the rod, the tenth shall be holy unto the Lord. He shall not search whether it be good or bad, neither shall he change it. And if he change it at all, then both it and the change.
Zaquan, priest Kahan, Ashakadash Yahbashim Yahshua Barakatah. Go ahead. He said, "True, but ever be fearful not. Our time is the rise of salvation." Yeah, that's right. All praises. Hallelujah. Go ahead.
God, it says, then both it and the change thereof shall be holy. It shall not be redeemed.
That's right. It shall not. So he goes and he sells the 10% that he was going to present. He goes and exchanges it for a cash value. He adds an additional 20% to whatever that cash value is, and he is to take all of that money and give it directly into the priest in the temple. He's not supposed to do nothing else with it, right? Read on.
It says, these are the commandments which the Lord commanded Moses for the children of Israel on Mount Sinai.
Boom, and that's the end of our Torah portion for this evening. What we're going to do is we'll end the service. In the service, man. Salakia. Getting ready to end the service, so we're going to rise and face the east again. So if y'all want to rise and face the east with us, we'll give thanks for this new moon and put the curses up. All right. Tawada Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Barakah. Kadash. Right now we're going to put the curses up. All right. Yahweh. Ba'ashem. Yahweh Shai. Shalak. Rayam. Wa. Anasha. Wa. Abadim. Wa. Haragim. Wa. Mashapayim. Al-Kal. Adawamya. Wa. Gawayam. Wa. Ayabim Nawa. Babakusha. Yahweh. Ba'ashem. Yahweh Shai. The water. Aman. All right, with that, that's going to conclude this new moon service. All right, so we're going to give all praise, honor, and glory again to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Say Ashar Kadash, Shabbat Shalom.